This full moon in Leo coming up on February 1st is saying you better say it with your whole chest. This is your what you need to know and your tarot reading for the full moon in Leo coming up on February 1st. My name is Natasha. I used to be Nurse Natasha on here, but I just recently changed over my username to match all my other social media. But yeah, like I said, this is your what you need to know for the full moon in Leo coming up on February 1st. We're going to do a tarot reading. We're doing an oracle reading. We're going to check into the energy. First, I'm going to tell you all the stuff that's happening astrologically. And if you haven't felt it already, obviously there's a lot. You've probably seen a ton of astrologers talking about the astrology right now leading towards revolution, and it is, and we need it. You know what? Like I said, this full moon is saying say it with your chest. If you know me, if you follow me on other platforms, I will absolutely say with my chest, look, I'm a Satanist, leftist witch. That's what you're going to get here. We should be standing up for what we believe in right now. There should be a revolution, and you know, this is a fascist capitalist country, and we should be fighting back against it. So again, say it with your chest. And not just in matters of the political or the community or the country or the world. Personally, this full moon in Leo is about leading with your heart. It's about personal sovereignty. It's about your power, your authority. It's about stepping into the spotlight. We have, like everything else in Aquarius right now, which is very focused on the community and the collective and innovation and being eccentric. And then again, this is a full moon in Leo, which is Aquarius's opposite. So anyways, like I said, we're going to talk about the astrology pretty in depth, and then we're going to get into this tarot reading. If you enjoy this, I put out full free yoga classes and tarot readings for every full moon and new moon. It's been a bit since I've been on here because I broke my foot. About 3 weeks ago, I fell down the stairs in my house and I broke 2 of my toes. I shattered one of my toes, broke the other one. It wasn't fun. And then I had to host a retreat. I host retreats here in Salem, Massachusetts, which, by the way, if you're interested in coming with me to Salem, having a curated retreat, it is a really magical experience. I've been doing it for years now. My Salem retreats are now open for registration. I'm about halfway sold out. So if you'd like to come to Salem and come on retreat with me, those are available. The link will be in the description box below. Yeah, so I'm back. After a very intense start to the year of me falling down the stairs and breaking bones, which ironically Pisces rules the feet. I'm a Pisces, and I'm like, of course I would break my foot, you know? But we're back, and this full moon in Leo, I'm taking as an opportunity to, again, show up full force in my business and what I do here online. It's been very rough for me. Last year was rough, and this year, you know, it's like the astrology is kind of getting better and also getting worse in some ways, but it's a matter of perspective. Like I said, I think we're due for a revolution. So all these planets, all these astrological things that are happening that point towards revolution, I think is a good thing, even though our country is on fire. But I think we need it. So we need revolution, I mean. But you know, we have Pluto in Aquarius. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution. We have all these personal planets in Aquarius right now. Mars, Mercury, Venus, Pluto, the sun is all in Aquarius right now. So again, like I said, it's this energy of the collective, of authenticity. Aquarius is the star in the tarot. It's about following your North Star and being authentic. And then full moon in Leo, right? Like I said, this full moon is February 1st, also known as the snow moon. I want you to think of this full moon in Leo as the kickoff for some very intense astrology, a very intense eclipse season. Because guess what? We go into another eclipse season right after this full moon in Leo with a Ring of Fire solar eclipse new moon in Aquarius on February 17th. And then after that, a total blood moon lunar eclipse on March 3rd. In the sign of Virgo. And that blood moon lunar eclipse, most people will be able to see it. That moon is going to turn red in the sky for like 80 minutes. So this full moon in Leo is the kickoff to that. So you should be using this full moon in Leo to like stand in your power, to get in the spotlight, to say what you want to say, to follow your dreams, to get creative. This is a very creative energy, self-expression. Again, Leo and Aquarius are both about authentic self-expression. Leo, I feel like, is louder in it. I'm a Leo moon, you know, it's fire. Aquarius is a little bit more subtle and more like really living in it. Like Aquariuses, I love Aquariuses. I have 2 Aquarius placements, are weird, and that's just how it is. And it's like, this is the time right now in our world, in astrology. It's about showing up authentically and real, standing up for what you believe in. Yeah, I wrote down, say it with your chest, stand up, visibility, authority, personal sovereignty, getting into the spotlight, courage, bravery. That's what we need. That is what Leo is. Leo in the tarot is a strength card. It is all about courage and bravery and standing up for what you believe is right. Yeah, we also have huge astrological shifts happening in some of our more outer planets. You've probably also heard astrologers talking about Neptune which has been in Pisces for the past like 14 years. So the planet of dreams and illusion, the subconscious, and the sign of dreams and illusions, the subconscious. So for my fellow Pisces placements, it's about to get a little bit better for us because we have Neptune and Saturn finally leaving Pisces. This has been 14 years of illusion and delusion and things just feeling foggy and almost like you feel like you've been trapped in like a dream world. And now it's moving, Neptune is moving into Aries. Today, the day that I'm filming this on January 26th, Neptune is moving into Aries. And that's like the blindfold is being ripped off is kind of the vibe. Like if you have felt like you were unsure, like you're in a fog, you know, there's a lot of illusion and delusion around, suddenly that is gone and we are seeing things for what they really are. And that's also why I think, you know, obviously what's happening in our country right now, we all know it's been happening for a really long time, but now it's in the forefront. Like we can't ignore it anymore. And that is the vibe of Neptune moving into Aries. There is anything that has been not real or like illusion or fake, it's gone. We're in Neptune is in Aries now. Like it is fire, it is action. You should be taking actions on your dreams, even though the world is a hellscape and you know what, everything is on fire. Like I'm still out here, we still out here following our dreams. Support small businesses right now. Like, you know, this is the time to be supporting those that are being authentic and those that are like showing up for what they believe in and putting themselves out there. You know, this is a moment for the you know, I don't want to sound cheesy, but the free thinkers, the entrepreneurs, the people who go against status quo, that's what all this Aquarius is about. But yeah, this full moon in Leo is about leading with your heart. You know that, I think it's Cascada, Listen to Your Heart, you know, the song when we were in like middle school, that song, Listen to Your Heart. This is, you know, and this can be, again, personal goals. I do think a really great ritual to do under this full moon in Leo would be to write a letter to your future self, like congratulating yourself for like just accomplishing all the things that your heart wants. You know, this is a good time to release any blockages around things that, like, if you have certain dreams or passions that are totally heart-based, that maybe they don't make sense to anybody else, they don't make sense to society, they're not based in like this 9-to-5 capitalist whatever, work on those goals, the heart-based goals. I have like a wish list on Airbnb that's just called like fun and frivolous, and that's like places that on Airbnb that are like crazy, like a hobbit hole that I want to stay in and stuff. That has nothing to do with anything, right? It's not like a career or a job or like, you know, it is just like my heart wants to go stay in a hobbit hole, you know what I mean? But I think obviously like this is kind of, I don't want to say more serious goals, but like heart-based, but like it is like truly your dream, like your the thing that you've been pursuing your entire life that you've always wanted, you know what I mean? That's the heart, that thing that you hold in your heart that you're like, I would love, this is what I truly want in life. Those are the goals that you should be working towards, not the very like status quo 9-to-5 sort of goals. We already had all that Capricorn energy before. This is the time to follow your heart. I'm going to say it like 900 times in this reading probably. But yeah, you should be working with fire. We're in Leo. We have all the stuff moving into Aries. Like I said today, January 26th, Neptune moves into Aries. On February 13th, Saturn moves into Aries. And then we have a new moon, ring of fire, solar eclipse. So there is a lot of fire energy. We are leading into 2026 with a bunch of fire energy. With that new moon, solar eclipse, ring of fire eclipse that's happening in Aquarius on February 17th, that is kicking off the the lunar new year, which is the year of the fire horse. So that's finally starting with that new moon solar eclipse. And then the astrological new year starts with Aries season. We got a bunch of fire Aries energy. So use this full moon to light a fire under your butt, to stand up for what you believe in, to follow your crazy heart-based dreams. And that's pretty much it. So let's get into this tarot reading. I've been rambling for long enough. We are using the Horror Tarot. And again, while I'm shuffling, I'm going to tell you again, I host retreats here in Salem. If you want to book your spot, they are about halfway sold out. I also do New Orleans retreats. That one is already sold out. It's a vampire-themed retreat in New Orleans. It's already sold out. So if you want to come on retreat, you know, Salem is such a great... It is a safe little bubble, I will say, if you're obviously afraid of what's happening in this country. Salem is not like the rest of the world. But I would be honored to have you come on retreat. If you would like to escape to Salem for 5 days, this is for 2027, by the way. My 2026 retreats are already sold out. So yeah, support small businesses, my friends. Even if it's not mine, I want you to go out and support at least one small business. If you see this video, Like, go buy something from a small business. I don't care what it is, but that's what we should be doing right now. All right, let's get this started. We got the Four of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Four of Swords. Yeah, you know, the Four of Cups is a very interesting in this deck. This is the Horror Tarot. They're all like vintage kind of like horror posters, me holding them up backwards. We also have the Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck. You know what? We're burnt out. I know we are. I am. It says, who will carry the burden? The Ten of Wands is like, you're burnt out, but it's a 10. So traditionally in the Ten of Wands, it's a guy carrying a bunch of sticks up a hill, and he's just about to reach the top of the hill. So like, he is burnt out. He's about to fall down. His legs are probably like completely destroyed from walking up a hill carrying up a bunch of sticks. It's, you know, running up that hill, Kate Bush. You know, what's the Greek myth? Sisyphus? Is he the one pushing the rock up the hill? That kind of vibe. Who will carry the burden, because we're done with it. And the Four of Cups, we're kind of like, we're so tired of carrying this burden that we're like looking at all these options. And I love this because there's kind of like a ghost holding the other option. We're looking at these three cups like, I don't like that anymore. But there is another cup behind you, but we're too busy. I just saw 11:11 as I'm recording. We're too busy looking at maybe the things that didn't work out, or the things that we like don't really like anymore. Those three cups that we're like kind of staring at, like, the Four of Cups is a very stubborn energy. It's like, traditionally it's like a guy sitting under a tree, his arms are folded over his chest, and he's looking at these cups like, and the universe is behind him with another cup like, hello, that cup back there, that's following your heart, actually. That cup that's back there is the thing that you actually want, but you're too focused on like the things that you don't really want in front of you, and you're like, you just got to turn around and you got to look at that cup. Queen of Swords. Sometimes we got to set some boundaries. We got to be real. The Queen of Swords, she kind of sometimes gets the bad rep of being the Ice Queen because she is very real. She will take that sword, she will cut stuff out. But I think it's more kind of directed at ourselves almost. Like, you can see on this Queen of Swords, she is kind of killing somebody, but this is an unbiased tale of independence in the tradition. That's what this card says. But yeah, definitely heavy on the independence, but it's a very like cut out the bullshit sort of energy. Everybody's, I feel like, greatest journey begins when you get tired of your own bullshit. You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to take that sword and cut off the parts of our life or the pieces of ourselves that we know are not good for us, that we're like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of myself, actually, so I'm going to work on that. And the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is kind of the baby card to the Hermit. It is a restful energy. It says in this deck, featuring meditation, relaxation, and exhaustion. The Four of Swords traditionally is like a knight resting, but he is resting so he can come back stronger. You know, it's a time of self-reflection. The Four of Swords is, like it says, meditation, reflection. Just like the Hermit, it's a card of like soul searching. How can you figure out what this cup is behind you if you're burning yourself out, right? We had the Ten of Wands at the beginning, at the bottom of the deck. If you're like burning yourself out to the point of exhaustion, you can't really follow your heart, right? And you know what? It's hard to do in this, you know, capitalist fascist society where the world is on fire. We're burnt out just from what's happening around us, and it can be so hard to follow your dreams because we're just trying to survive. We're just trying to stay alive, you know what I mean? But if you need to rest. If you need to, like, take the time. It's giving very do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like, take the time to figure out what it is that cup is behind you that you like actually want. And sometimes we can't really follow our dreams or pursue our passions when we are burnt out, you know? We do have the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck now. One of my favorite cards, the Magician. We are in a Magician year. 2026 is a 1 year. This is card 1 in the tarot. The Magician is one of my favorite cards. He has all the suits of the tarot, aces, wands, pentacles, swords at his disposal. And I think that's also the solution to the Four of Cups is, I think what holds us back with the Four of Cups and following our dreams is we think that we have to have certain things to be able to follow our heart. Like, if you want to start your own business, for example, we're like, well, I have to have this like piece of equipment. People that want to be like a content creator. I'm filming this on my iPhone. I have a fancy camera that I don't use because it is to figure it out, I'm not a very like tech savvy person. People think that like, oh, I want to be a content creator, I need to go buy a really fancy camera. No, you don't. You can be a content creator from your phone. The tripod that this phone is on was like $15 and I've had it for like 10 years. And if I ever lose it, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's my favorite tripod. But you don't have to have the big fancy new stuff to go follow your dreams. Just like, again, on a collective level, I see these posts that are like the revolution, there's different parts. People are doing different things in the revolution. You don't have to be out on the front lines protesting if you can't. You can do other things. You can show up for your community in other ways. You don't have to go do the biggest, the boldest, the whatever. You can be brave and you can be courageous, and you can follow your dreams in different ways. You don't have to have, whatever. You have all the tools at your disposal is what I'm trying to say. You have things around you that you can use. You have resources around you that you can use. The Magician is a very resourceful card because he's a magician, right? It's very trash magic. He can take the trash and magicify it into his dreams. Like he can take, it's about it literally says he holds the power of all the elements in the palm of his hand. Like you already got it. You already got what you need. The Magician is a symbol of manifestation and unlimited potential. He knows all and sees all. He is resourceful and pure. Like you already have what you need. You just have to figure out how to use it. And that can be maybe what the going inward and the Four of Swords is. The Hanged Man, we are a little stuck, I'm not going to lie. We dare you to look at the world from his point of view, is what it says. And perhaps, again, the reason why we're not seeing that cup behind us, the reason why we're feeling these blockages is because we need to shift perspective. It can be very easy, and I'm very guilty of this right now. I am kind of doom spiraling a little bit because of what's happening in our country, as we all are. Because it is really affecting my small business, because, I get that it's a scary time right now, and we all don't want to spend money, and we're afraid to, because, it's totally valid. But sometimes, we just need a little shift in perspective. That's what I keep trying to tell myself when I feel the doom spiral anxiety creeping in. I'm like, how can we look at this from a different way? How can we kind of stop this and figure out how to proceed? The Hanged Man, he's stuck, but he's stuck for a reason. You can see he's chilling. Even though he's hanging upside down, he's big chilling. He has his arms behind his head. He's like, you know what? When I'm being forced to be stuck, sometimes you just have to, like in SpongeBob, when they're stuck in Sandy's enclosure, very fitting considering, look, I'm snowed in Salem right now. There was like 2 feet of snow and it's still snowing. And they're stuck in the enclosure and they can't get out. And Patrick goes up to the door and he's like, open sesame. And he's like, well, I've done all I can do. Sometimes you just got to be like, well, I've done all I can do. I have to take a step back and sit here and figure out why I'm stuck, figure out what tools I have, do a little bit of soul searching, and then perhaps we can move forward after we walk away from something. 8 of Cups, yeah. And it's like the 8 of Cups to me is one of the most annoying cards. It's also, fun fact, in the traditional tarot, the only card that has an eclipse on it. Like I said, we're about to walk into eclipse season. What do we need to let go of? And the hard part about the 8 of Cups is it's not walking away from something that you know is bad for you. It's walking away from something that you might like, that might have served you at one time, that is maybe something you love, but we still gotta walk away from it. And that is the hard part of the 8 of Cups, is like walking away from something that you're like, this was treasured to me once. Traditionally, it's like a dude walking away from a treasure chest. And it's like, well, this was treasured to me once, but it's not anymore. And it sucks to have to walk away from that. But the 8 of Cups is walking into the 9 of Cups, which is wishes coming true. 5 of Swords, another card of walking away, by the way, walking away from chaos. A brutal tale of victory in the tradition. That's what it says. The 5 of Swords is a very, it's like the chaos. People are putting it's like post-battle. Like people are putting their swords down. It's like sometimes you gotta walk away. You gotta walk away from the chaos when there's chaos around you. Sometimes we have to walk away from it. We have to put the swords down, picking our battles. Right? That's what the suit of swords is. The 5 of Swords is about, is picking and choosing your battles. If you're giving all of your energy to these like pointless battles, you're not going to have your energy to actually go do what it is that you want to do and show up for your community and fight back, right? All right, we're going to clarify with the Occult Tarot. This is the Demonology deck. There's a demon on every card. I love it. I just got, I have Asmodeus' sigil tattooed on my palm. That's the demon that I work with. I just also got his sigil tattooed on my face. And I also got Lucifer's sigil just tattooed on my hand. So let's see what demons come up for us today. What else do we need to know? I also love this deck because of the red. Hey, right. Yeah, it's the Strength card. The card of Leo. This is the full moon in Leo. What did I say? Strength, bravery, courage, perseverance, keeping going when times are tough. And believe me, I know it sucks. I want to give up so bad. I am just close to giving up. It's been just one thing right after another for me. Again, if you've been here on my channel, you know it's been rough. I've had changes in my home. I have lost my best friend. Like, they didn't pass, but you know, had a best friend breakup with my best friend of 20 years, and I fell down the stairs and I broke my foot. And then, you know, the world is on fire, and my business is definitely freaking me out right now. But you know what? I'm still here. I'm still recording this video, even though I very much want to give up. You know what I mean? We have to keep going. The Five of Cups, even though we are sad. This is my Eternal Stalker card, the Five of Cups. Grief, disappointment. That's this, I mean, this is kind of how we feel in the world right now. We've had a lot of tragedies recently. You know, lost good people. You know what I mean? Fascist country, right? We are all feeling the collective grief right now. And on a personal level too. I know that we're collectively going through it. We're all personally going through it. We've all lost things, people. We've all had grief and disappointment and things in the last year. But the key to the Five of Cups is, again, turning away from those cups that are spilled. It can be so hard because we want to sit in it. And sometimes we need to. Sometimes you do need to sit in your feelings. But when you are ready to turn away from the cups that were spilled, there are cups that are upright behind you. And it leads to this path with a castle. That's the traditional Five of Cups. The Eight of Cups, again, you have to walk away from those spilled cups. You gotta. Because the only way you're going to see that nice castle that's in the background in the Five of Cups traditionally, it's like this sad guy, he's looking at his spilled cups, but behind him there's upright cups and a path that leads to a castle. The only way you're going to see that is if you turn around and walk away. Two of Cups, that's nice. It was the friends we made along the way. What's that Superman quote where in the new Superman movie when he was like, the punk rock was the friends that we made along the way, or whatever he says? It definitely became a meme. But you know, Two of Cups, friendship, communication, new relationships, could be, you know, a partnership, a fun flirty thing. It's like kind of the baby card of the lovers. Ace of Cups, definitely a lot of love coming through the star. We'll get one more. Three of Wands. Ace of Cups, the star, and the Three of Wands. Honestly, truly, follow your heart. That's the Ace of Cups. What fills your cup, what makes you feel love. The star, card of Aquarius. Like I said, everything's in Aquarius right now. Authenticity, following your North Star. Hope. Light at the end of the tunnel. The star comes after the tower, and we are collectively in a tower moment right now. And the Three of Wands. We might not be able to see it yet, but as long as you stay true to yourself, stay true to what you believe in, follow your North Star. The way I like to describe the star and like trying to figure out like what your North Star is in Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow, his compass does not point north. It points to what he wants the most. That is your North Star. Your true desires. Again, what does your heart want? All right, we're going to clarify with this oracle deck that I haven't used in forever. It's called the Gothic Oracle, and it really looks like those old Gothic artwork from like the early 2000s of, like, you know, I used to love that because, you know, if you're a mall goth, or any type of goth in like the 90s and the 2000s. That was kind of like the art that was on everything. You remember like those fairy and like vampire statues that they sold? That's the kind of art that this is. It's a very like kind of cheesy sort of goth, but you know, I'm feeling cheesy. I feel like the full moon in Leo is a little bit of a cheesy sort of energy. It's very dramatic. You know, that's kind of like the vibe of this kind of artwork. It's like super dramatic and very, where did that card even go? It fell and it didn't make a sound. Dramatic in like the power of 3. Wow, yeah, it's very giving, very charmed. This is giving very 90s, 2000s. It says the power of 3, which I assume is probably going to be about community, the collective, absolutely. I was going to pull from the bottom, but I'm going to pull from the top instead, but it says blue moon. We do actually have a blue moon this year. This year we have 13 full moons, so there will be a blue moon coming up. Love the unicorn vibe. Dragon beauty. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? They're very cheesy, but we need a little bit of cheese. Angel Rose. This deck is killing me, y'all. Like, I can't wait to see what the meaning of these cards is. And Medusa. All right, I'll take it. So let's look at the meaning of these cards. Like I said, this is called the Gothic Oracle. If you are interested, let's see. The power of 3. Cooperation. Yes, I told you. If you've drawn this card, it means that the team is of great importance. You may be able to solve a problem or take on a new responsibility alone, but do you have to? Sometimes jobs can be more enjoyable when we share the experience with others. Are you carrying your workload and doing your part? Are others shouldering responsibilities that you should be dealing with? Or is it someone else who has become lax? The power of 3 reminds you of the strength of the group and not the individual. It is often when we all join together that successes happen, and that is for us personally and for us as a collective, I believe. All right, Dragon Beauty. These cards are so cheesy. Gifts. That's nice. This card is connotating a gift, a pleasant surprise, or the arrival of something pleasing. It can describe the giving of presents and generosity of others, but its meaning is far wider than impromptu gift giving. Dragon Beauty will, in some situations, concern compliments or can predict praise. What could be better than being told you are doing a good job, or being congratulated in your efforts? In some readings, this card will hint at promotions. If you've drawn this card, then know that the gift of good news is on its way, as new opportunities may be headed in your direction. In the simplest of meanings, being reminded of your qualities, admired or noticed, will give you a much needed boost. That's a nice little card when things feel tough. It's kind of like almost like a reminder that you're on the right path. A reminder when everything is bad, that maybe there is good, you know? Angel Rose, perspective. Coming back to the Hangman, changing perspective. A shift in perspective could be needed at this time. While it might be understandable for you to be feeling lackluster or even down, there is always something to be thankful for, to look forward to. Like this woman, just lifting your head up to the light could change your outlook for the better. Very the star. Though you may have experienced a difficult time, dwelling on a problem or engaging only with those things that have not worked out will simply keep you stuck in the darkness. Have I not said this the entire reading? 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups. I told you, 8 of Cups. An act of gratitude is necessary, even though the difficulties you have faced may have left you emotionally buckled. It is important that you count the blessings that do exist and consider the life lessons that have been gained through recent hardships. I'm being called out, but you know, we need to hear it. All right, Medusa. Justice. This card, let's see, is about injustice is as much about injustice as justice. It will often arrive when we feel as though we've been treated unfairly. The rage in Medusa's stance suggests a need to right a wrong or invoke fairness of some kind. Obviously, I do think this is about the collective in this country. If you have drawn this card, it could be time for you to seek justice. You may be motivated by anger, but remember to keep as level ahead as possible when you are relaying facts of a situation. It is time for you to give your side of the story. As a general card, Medusa is a good omen, especially when connected to legal situations or time when the truth needs to be confronted. You know? All right, we'll take the one at the bottom of the deck as well, the Blue Moon card. Ooh, there's a Blood Moon card. I hope I pull that on the Blood Moon in March. Oh, the Blue Moon is luck. That's nice. Because of the infrequency of the event, this card is connected to luck and the seemingly impossible becoming possible. When its magnificent glow lights a reading, it suggests that you will become the beneficiary of prosperity. This occurrence, however, may not be expected since the card, like the blue moon, is out of the ordinary. Luck is on your side, fortune will favor you, and you'll likely be in the right place at the right time. Surprise opportunities and random synchronicities are part of this card's message, whether you find a little extra than you thought in your bank account this month or meet someone who could positively change your life. I'll take it. Because look, we are in a time of tower moments, collective tower moment. And what is the opposite of a catastrophe, of a tower moment, is a miracle. So, you know, hope is the one thing I think keeping us going. And that is also the full moon in Leo vibe. It's, again, hope, courage, bravery, perseverance, resistance, revolution. So that is all I have for this reading, my friends. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the things. Again, if you'd like to come on a retreat with me, the link will be in the description box below. I will also have a full free yoga class for this full moon as well, and I'm back in action. I'm trying to show up for y'all, you know, because all we have is our community, right? So thank you for being a part of my community. Have a wonderful, safe full moon, and I will see you next time.